The crowd at the London Palladium murmured with restless anticipation as a shy, brown-skinned teenage girl stepped onto the Britain's Got Talent stage. Her hands trembled as she clutched the microphone, her voice barely above a whisper when she said, "Hello, my name is Althea Santos, and I'm from the Philippines." The judges smiled politely, but Simon Cowell leaned forward with that familiar skeptical look, the kind that had crushed 1,000 dreams before. The lights dimmed, and for a moment, the vast stage seemed too big for her. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and whispered to herself, "For Mama." No one knew that behind that small voice was a storm of pain and hope. Althea had grown up in a small coastal town in the Philippines. Her mother was a laundry woman, her father a fisherman who'd never returned from sea after a storm 3 years earlier. Since then, Althea had sung at markets, weddings, and bus stations, anywhere that could earn a few pesos to help her mother buy medicine. Music wasn't just her passion, it was her lifeline. When a charity foundation announced open auditions for talented youth to fly abroad, she saw a chance to change their lives forever. But as the opening chords of Defying Gravity filled the air, doubts crashed over her. The song, a Broadway powerhouse sung by stars, was no easy choice. What was she thinking? She was barefoot once on the streets of Manila, now standing before Simon Cowell. Then she remembered her mother's words the night before she left, "You may be poor, Anak, but your voice carries heaven." Althea opened her eyes. And then, she sang. Her first note was trembling, fragile, almost too soft, but as the music swelled, so did her confidence. The arena fell silent. Her voice soared, clear and powerful, defying every expectation, echoing with pain, courage, and something divine. By the second chorus, the audience was on their feet, their cheers rising with her voice. Simon's expression shifted. From skepticism to awe. Tears began to glisten in his eyes. But it wasn't just her voice. It was what she carried in it, years of struggle, dreams stitched together by love. As she reached the final high note, her hand pressed over her heart, and she sang with everything she had left. When the music ended, the room erupted. People screamed, cried, clapped until their hands hurt. Althea covered her mouth, trembling, tears streaming down her face. For a moment, she thought she might faint. Then Simon stood. No smirk, no sarcasm, just quiet admiration. "That," he said softly, "was one of the most extraordinary things I've ever seen." His hand hovered over the golden buzzer, and with a deep breath, he slammed it down. Golden confetti burst into the air like a shower of dreams. Althea fell to her knees, sobbing as the stage filled with light. The judges ran up to hug her, the crowd chanting her name, Althea. Althea. Backstage, when a reporter asked what inspired her performance, she said "Thr." But the story didn't end there. A few weeks later, the show flew her mother to London for the semifinals. When Althea saw her mom in the front row, thin and frail but smiling through tears, she broke down before the song even started. The host handed her a microphone, and Simon leaned in and whispered, "Sing for her again." And she did. With her mother watching, Althea sang not to win, but to heal. Her voice trembled with gratitude, her every note a thank you to the woman who had taught her what love really meant. The audience stood again, many in tears. When she finished, Simon simply said, "You've reminded us why we love music, it's the sound of the human heart." After the show, Simon quietly arranged for her mother's treatment through a private sponsor. Althea never found out until months later. When she tried to thank him, he only smiled and said, "Just keep singing. The world needs that voice." Years later, Althea would go on to perform on stages across the world. But no matter how far she traveled, she always ended her concerts the same way, barefoot, singing Defying Gravity, in honor of her roots and her mother's faith. Her story became a symbol for millions, proof that dreams have no nationality, no class, no limits. From the narrow streets of a small Philippine town to the world's biggest stage, Althea had shown that even when life tries to keep you down, you can rise. Because sometimes, the most powerful voices come from the quietest hearts, and the truest stars are born from struggle, not fame. And as Simon once said in that unforgettable moment, tears still on his face. She didn't just sing Defying Gravity. She lived it.